You're listening to One Bright Star's Life After Loss, a podcast that's focused on the lifelong journey of life after loss, with your hosts Erica Fisher and Alicia Moore. One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast is sponsored by the law firm of Burkholz and Associates. And now, One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast.
Hello, and welcome to One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast. I'm Erica Fisher, Executive Director with One Bright Star.
And Alicia Moore, Board Member of One Bright Star.
And today we have Tiffany Ward with us. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, Erica. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Tiffany.
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome.
Thank you.
I've known Tiffany for a long time. Middle school years, maybe? High school?
Yep. Early high school.
So I've known Tiffany for a long time, and with knowing Tiffany, I got to know her amazing mother, Cheryl. And recently, we lost Cheryl to a long battle with cancer. And we just brought Tiffany here today to talk about how amazing Cheryl is and how she's doing without her mom. Because I know your mom was such an amazing person and a big part of your life and so many people's lives.
Yeah, she was. And every day I learn even more. It's actually been kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long has it been, Tiffany? When did your mom pass away?
5 weeks ago.
5 weeks ago.
It's
Very fresh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember visiting with you at our celebration of life, and you told me you and your sister had been with your mom every moment, but you took time that night to step away. Mm-hmm. And you said that's what your mom would want. And I thought that was just really special. And so you were with her and on her journey, and no regrets for all of that time spent and for everything you did. And how has it been since your mom has passed?
Since mom has passed, I get to hear all kinds of stories from all kinds of people. A lot of people I know, a lot of people I don't know. But the biggest thing is I've learned how many people she touched and impacted, and hearing all the stories about, how they made her laugh, or how she made them laugh, how she would give people pep talks, or sometimes maybe even help put them a little bit in perspective, put them in their place.
Okay.
Mom was I like to call her sassy.
Okay.
But in a very tender-hearted way.
Yes.
So she was able to relate to anybody, really, because she's been through everything.
Okay.
And that, I think, was her superpower, is she was able to go through everything so that way she could understand the perspective of everyone she spoke with.
Yes.
That's so true.
That's neat. I like that. Her superpower.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is she was in hospice for about a month before she passed, and got to have actually some really good conversations with her during that time. Of course, it was still never enough. There's a lot of questions I still wish I would have asked. But one of the things that she said during that time is, gosh, I just hope I made a difference for someone.
Oh, wow.
And I actually posted that on her caring bridge, or that she said, I hope I inspired someone, or something to that effect. And I posted it on Caring Bridge, and I was flooded with messages of people and how she touched them. And so I was able to read all of those to her while she was still here.
Yes.
And yeah, that was really beautiful.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I love it that she got to hear those things. A lot of times people don't get to. So good for you for getting that out there.
Yeah.
So people could share their love and their admiration for everything that she's done for them.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
She was great. She still is great to this day. Yeah. Tiffany, when you and I were talking, I think it was the day you were going over to talk to your mom. I think we spoke, and maybe after that, probably kind of a blur for you.
A little bit.
You were talking, business, and doing this and doing that. And we were just talking, and I said, you're grieving your mom before she's gone. And
yeah, I remember that conversation very clearly right now. I can picture where I was at, the chair I was sitting in, and having that conversation with you, and all of the things that needed to be handled. And that's my role in the family. That's just who I am as a person, is making sure all the things get taken care of. logistically. And that's where I was at. But I was also in a place of, I was starting to feel angry and super sad at the same time. And then I got kind of frustrated with myself for feeling that way. And there were so many emotions going on. And I think I was just like babbling to you. And then when you said that and you're like, you're already grieving, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because it hadn't even crossed my mind in that way. Like I knew I was going to lose her, but it didn't really sink in until you said that in the most loving way. And kind of you started to coach me through that a little bit and let me know it was okay.
It's a scary thing, grief, because it comes at you in whatever way it wants to. It can be beautiful. It can be ugly. It can be, I don't know. There's so many different emotions that come with grief and feelings that whatever you're feeling is okay.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
It kind of changed my perspective a little bit too, going forward from that evening that we had that conversation. And the entire time she was in hospice, I never looked at her like, oh my gosh, she's dying and I just need to like sit and, weep over her right now. It was, and because of the type of person she is and how she raised me, every day was going to be as normal as it possibly could. I was not going to talk to her differently. I'm not going to talk to her in a different tone. She's my mom and I'm going to treat her and talk to her exactly the same.
Right.
And so that's what we did. And my mom and I are very sarcastic towards one another.
Way.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Crazy. So there was a lot of us. I would still kind of banter with her as much as I could, and she would with me. Even when she couldn't speak anymore, she'd still roll her eyes at me. I love it. And so that was great. But after we had that conversation is when it helped me to realize like, okay, yep, I need to cherish every moment, but it doesn't mean every moment has to be this big, crazy ordeal either. Because I think when we see movies or hear stories, that's how it is. And
sometimes normalcy is what our hearts need.
Yeah.
And her, too, she probably needed that too. Nobody fussing over, just normal.
Right. Yep. Right. She wanted you to banter back and forth. She wouldn't have wanted you to change that because that's the way you are. That's the relationship that you had. And I'm sure she just cherished that up until the end when she left this earthly journey. Yeah. And she was so thankful probably. And so, yes.
Yeah. And I also, it took me probably about a week to ask her all the questions and say all the things that I really wanted to make sure I heard from her and she heard from me. But then after that, I was really at peace with, I knew she could go any day. And I was truly at peace with that if I didn't see her again tomorrow, I knew all was right within my heart and hers. And I think that is actually what's really helping me now.
That's really beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Actually,
that is just a blessing.
Yeah.
You have that time where and you want to just like stop time and you can't because you know that your mom is, she's going to pass. But yet I love it that you had that opportunity to make your heart feel good, to make it right with you and with her. And I shouldn't say make it right, just to know that you had those chance to ask those questions and that you were at a really good place.
Yeah. And I do feel too, I feel really blessed that I got all of that time with her. We all did. There were a lot of us that got a lot of time with her. We have a huge family, but I also felt like because of our relationship, if I hadn't had that time, I still would have been okay.
Okay.
Yep. Because I knew that her and I didn't have a relationship that was closed off or nothing was unapproachable between us.
Right.
We were completely open with one another all the time. So I had no worries about that either.
Yes. That's really special. That is very special.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pecans on the top.
Pecans on the top. Oh my gosh, I actually haven't thought about that for a hot minute.
You want to tell the story about that?
So in her last week, she she was not fully coherent, but she definitely, we could tell, she was having thoughts and she was saying things that we knew she knew what she was saying. We just weren't getting the whole story.
Okay.
And there was one day we actually thought we thought this was the moment. We had hours, and my stepdad called my brothers and I and our spouses all out to the house, and we all gathered around her and we're holding her hand and just kind of staring at her, and we had some silence for a while that was just really, really great. And then we all were kind of sitting there like, okay. We were staring at her for like 2 hours, and this was getting awkward. And then we're like, she's not going anywhere right now. Mm-hmm. And she looked up and she says to my I think it was my brother or my stepdad, and says, "Sarah, you have a bug on your face." And there was no bug on his face, but she was seeing something. And we just started laughing just uncontrollably. And then a couple of minutes later, she goes, "Pecans on top. The pecans on top." And we're like, "Oh, okay, Mom, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we'll put yep." She loves pecan pie. So we're like, whatever. Anyway, it was, I believe, the day that Mom passed. I have two brothers. The older of my two brothers put the pieces together. And our family, a family recipe of ours is Hello Dolly bars. And my grandma would make them the best until my mom started making them. And then everybody loved my mom's even more than my grandma's. And nobody knew how it was different. Well, she put the pecans on top.
Okay.
And my brother figured that out. And so...
Oh, I love it.
So we had Hello Dolly bars at the funeral. We had... actually, Erica helped too. We had all of our family.
I've never made them before in my life.
A lot of our family and friends made Hello Dolly bars, and we had them at the funeral, and it was great.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Pecans on top.
Pecans on top. Mm-hmm.
That's great. That is really neat.
Yeah, Cheryl touched a lot of people for sure. I mean, just I think it was at the Fire and Ice Ball, she gave me a thumbs up and she said, "Erica, I'm ready to join your board."
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And I said, "Okay, you know where to find me." And she gave me that wink, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She'd been wanting to do that for many, many years. That was something that would fill her cup. And
because she had a loss.
Yes. She actually lost... Her and my stepdad lost four babies.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
One was stillborn. And, they went through a lot. Yeah, Ruth.
Okay.
And that's how our whole family got connected with One Bright Star. And it was pretty early on when One Bright Star was just getting started.
Right.
And Mom was as involved as she could be without actually joining the board.
Yes.
Yeah, and she was always at the Celebration of Life galas and just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was involved in just about everything she could be in the community.
Good for her. She gave back a lot.
Yeah.
Actually, I did not have the honor of doing a lot with your mom, but I absolutely recognized her when I saw the obituary, and Erica shared some stories with me. The one thing I thought was really neat, by the way, beautifully written obituary.
Oh, thank you.
And Be the Light.
Yes.
I just thought that was so neat. Not only did she honor One Bright Star with memorials, but Be the Light. And when I thought of that, I thought of how your mom was actually a light for so many.
She was.
And she definitely was the light.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so fitting. Definitely. How have things been since you spent so much time with her? That's got to be just so just draining. Your hospice is there, but you're out there not wanting to, you want to be by her side. You want to be there for everything. And then she passes and you're, trying to get through the funeral and that stuff. And then it's done.
Yeah.
And you're very close with your mom. And so all of a sudden, all the rest of us go back to work and we do our normal routine. And then you have to find this new normal.
Yeah. So crazy thing is, I think the days between and this is the first time I've walked through this, but between someone passing and then the services, those can be really hard days because the planning actually doesn't take very long.
Yes.
It's very quick, and then you just kind of wait, right? unfortunately, but please hear me the right way, fortunately, my grandmother passed the same day that my mom did.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was 91, led an amazing, wonderful life. They actually passed within 20 minutes of each other.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Was it your mom's mom then?
My stepmom's mom.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
And anyway, so those days in between, we actually were able to go to her services in Michigan. So it kept me busy,
wow.
which I think was good. And I was able to be with other family.
Yes.
And then we got through the services for my mom, which were absolutely beautiful. And then it was the Monday after. And we spent the whole weekend after my mom's funeral with family, and we gathered and we literally celebrated all weekend. And then Monday, I was feeling very lost. I just didn't know what to do with myself. And my business is closed on Mondays, so I actually didn't have to work.
Okay.
And I called my daughter, and my daughter came over and just did dishes with me and laundry. And once she came over, I was able to like get up and get moving and have conversation. And that really made a huge difference for me. That one day was that was tough.
That was a tough day. Yes.
Yep. And then since then, I realized she's with me all the time. So I really haven't, it's only been 5 weeks. I haven't had any super tough days. I've had days where she has very loudly made sure that I know she's there. Okay. And other days it's a little more quiet, but I'm definitely
Hello.
listening. Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah.
Share a couple.
Yeah.
Share a couple signs.
So there was a feather. She talked about feathers a lot.
Okay.
And there was a feather actually the day before she passed. I was taking the dog for a walk, and there was a large feather on the ground, and I knew.
Yes.
I just knew. It was either my grandparents getting ready to welcome her, or it was her already.
It was her.
Transitioning.
Trust me, I know.
That's so neat.
And then, so that was one, but 444 is the angel number for your guardian angel is around you.
Okay.
And there have been multiple times where I look at the clock and it's 4:44, usually in a slightly stressful moment.
Really? Okay.
Which is what my mom would always be there for me for. I'd have a stressful moment and I would call mom, and she would, sometimes she wouldn't even say anything. It was just I had to talk to her, and then it would be all better. So 4:44. And then actually last week I was walking out of work. I looked at my phone. It was 4:44, and I have rotating pictures on my phone.
Okay.
And it was a picture of clouds with one sunbeam coming through the clouds like an angel light.
Really?
So I literally screenshotted it. I sent it to Erica. Yep. And then I got in my car right after that, and it was on a station that I don't normally listen to, which was bizarre.
Okay.
And I Will Always Love You was playing, and that song really makes me think of my mom. It's literally, if you listen to like all the words, it's exactly what she would say to me or to any of us. And it was a great, very emotional moment. And I just knew. So that's been the loudest for sure, that moment. But yeah, there's just little, like I can literally, I just feel her. I see things, I don't know.
That's
She's
wonderful.
everywhere.
That's what it's meant to do, is to get you through, to get you back on this new journey, and to let you know that you're not alone. She's with you.
She is with you.
Yes.
She told you. She would.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
I asked her what signs she was going to send me, and she goes, I don't know. We'll see. So she sends them all.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. I know that you will do an amazing job filling your mom's shoes and carrying on her memory and honoring her. She's an amazing woman, and so are you.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you so much, Tiffany, for being here with us today, and we'll probably have you back.
Oh, I would love to.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening to One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast. Life After Loss is a copyrighted production of One Bright Star. One Bright Star's Life After Loss podcast is sponsored by the law firm of Burkholtz and Associates. For more information on the lifelong journey after losing a loved one, please visit our website at onebrightstar.org.